Chapter 302, The Mysterious Master. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Lin Shenyu followed and stood behind Han Ku. He watched Jiang Tangai leave with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. He said, "Elder sister Han, if you don't kill Jiang Tangai, there will be no end to your trouble in the future." Han Ku's eyes revealed a slight struggle. She sighed. "I know, but after all he is the elder brother in Yantai suzerain, and he hasn't done anything bad to the suzerain. If I killed him, I would be neither virtuous nor righteous." "You should have at least destroyed his cultivation and broken his meridians," Lin Shenyu said. "Don't say anything further. Just let him go. After all, he was once a member of Yantai suzerain and our eldest brother," Han Ku said. Lin Shenyu was disappointed. How indecisive women are. But even if Han Ku can't bear to do it, the master is a man with the means. He will never set a tiger free to roam the mountains. It will not be easy for Jiang Tangai to leave Yantai suzerain. Jiang Tangai quickly executed his fastest technique to fly through the woods, hoping to leave Omen Ridge as soon as possible. "Lin Shenyu, how dare you betray me? You just wait and see. I will exterminate your whole family." Jiang Tangai was very angry. With his talent, he could have married Han Ku and even become the future master of Yantai suzerain. The master had even promised that as long as he reached the fish dragon realm, he could marry Han Ku. The honor of being master would be passed to Han Ku. Han Ku would have been the master and Jiang Tangai would have been the second master. Han Li had intended to let him help Han Ku carry Yantai suzerain forward. However, because of Jiang Miwachen and Lin Shenyu, he had to leave Yantai suzerain. He would not have the chance to become the second master nor the opportunity to practice the holy universe-reaching skill. He was like a stray dog now. The world was so big. Where should he go? Shing. All of a sudden, there was a slight sound of breeze. Who goes there? Jiang Tangai was highly alert. He stopped at once and looked towards the woods. However, he could see nothing but trees, vines, moss, and rocks. He seemed to feel something and turned around immediately. Behind him was a bearded elder who was likely in his 80s. The bearded elder was skinny and haggard. He stood still in the forest like a mummy. His hands were shaped like eagle claws with 10 sharp fingernails like trenchant edges. Jiang Tangai knew that the old man was a servant named Han Jingzhong. He always followed Han Li and was a master of martial arts. His cultivation was unfathomable. "Oh, Uncle Zong, I knew that the master wouldn't allow me to leave alive." Jiang Tangai clasped his hands and mobilized the genuine chi throughout his body. With no hesitation, Jiang Tangai seized the initiative to make an attack. He punched towards Han Jingzhong's abdomen. Tiger intruding fist. The genuine chi formed ripples around Jiang Tangai's wrist. It sounded like the roar of a tiger. G-R-R-R-R. Jiang Tangai was highly gifted, and his all-out punch was very powerful. It shook the trees nearby and leaves fell one by one. Han Jingzhong stood still like a dry pine. His smile was as ferocious as a ghost. He raised his shriveled palm lightly. His palm seemed to move slowly but left a weird mark in the void space. Clap. Han Jingzhong's palm collided against Jiang Tangai's fist. He folded his fingers and easily caught Jiang Tangai's fist. His long fingernails penetrated straight into Jiang Tangai's flesh. He twisted his arm. With a popping sound, Jiang Tangai's arm snapped. He was thrown back and rotated 360 degrees in the air. Bang! Jiang Tangai fell to the ground on one knee. He felt an acute pain in his arm and his facial muscles were cramping. "You think you're the top prodigy in Omen Ridge? Do you think you're invincible? In my eyes, you are still too young." Han Jingzhong's voice was like gravel. He laughed grimly. One leg forward and one back, Jiang Tangai was like a fierce tiger on the ground. He stared coldly at Han Jingzhong and waited for the next attack. He knew it would be even more fierce. However, unexpectedly, Han Jingzhong didn't launch any further attack but said slowly, "Jiang Tangai, do you know why the master can't tolerate you and must eliminate you? Because of my misconduct." Jiang Tangai said. Han Jingzhong laughed. "What matters in the dog-eat-dog martial world is means. How many people actually conduct themselves well?" "Then why?" asked Jiang Tangai. Han Jingzhong said, "Don't you know that 2 tigers can't live on one mountain? Before, your talents were much higher than Han Ku." "Of course, the master eagerly wanted to marry Hanku to you and let you stay in Yantai Suzerain. Thus, the power of Yantai Suzerain would expand. But now it is different. Hanku has passed the 4th floor of Juju Tower. She is as gifted as you. If the two of you have the same power, who should be the future master of Yantai Suzerain? Zhang Tangai said, if we are equal, neither of us would surrender to the other. In the future, I must fight with Hanku. Either I or Hanku will die and there is no other possibility. That's why the master chose to kill me. To protect his daughter. Funny, Uncle Zong, the master has sent you to kill me. Why are you not attacking me? Han Jingzhong smiled coldly. If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead on the first move. Zhang Tangai, you are a prodigy, a man with means and ambition. I think highly of you. What do you mean? Zhang Tangai asked, confused. Han Jingzhong waved his hands and turned to leave. He said, neither Yantai Suzerain nor Yunwu Commandery has room for you. You only have one way, which is to follow me. I will introduce you to someone and perhaps he can help you. Zhang Tangai endured the pain in his arms and looked at Han Jingzhong's hunched figure. Who on earth are you? Just follow me and no more nonsense. Han Jingzhong said coldly. Zhang Tangai didn't have any choice. He had to follow him. Omen Ridge, as vast as a sea of forests, had turbulent rivers, wide lakes, and towering mountains. When traveling through the forests, people got lost easily. It was hard to know how far they had gone when Han Jingzhong led him to a military camp built in the dense jungle. The roar of savage beasts and the sound of military training could be heard far off in the distance. Standing on the branch of an ancient tree, Han Jingzhong was as light as a feather. Folding his hands behind his back, he glanced into the distance and said, in front of us is the camp of the Barbarian Elephant Army. It is the strongest military training center in the Square Commandery. Zhang Tangai said, isn't Square Commandery sanctioned? I thought they don't exist anymore. Han Jingzhong laughed coldly. The royal family of the Square Commandery has many masters. There are more than 20 warriors who have reached the Heaven Realm. Before the sanction paper from East Region St. Mansions was handed out, they had already withdrawn and hidden in the training center concealed in Omen Ridge. You should clearly know that you and they share one enemy. Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Tangai asked, are you from the Square Commandery? Square Commandery? Funny. Han Jingzhong laughed disdainfully. The royal members of Square Commandery are stray cats like you. Suddenly, a cold wind blew. Swish. A red ray of light flashed in void space and flew through the dense forests. Zhang Tangai's eyes tightened and he shouted, who? Suddenly, spiritual chi surged and formed ripples in the void space. From the center of these ripples, a red hand with long soft fingers stretched out, emitting crimson mist. Swoosh. The red hand displayed hundreds of phantoms and attacked Zhang Tangai. Han Jingzhong stepped onto the dead wood and rushed in front of him, striking out with two hands. Boom. Like eagle claws, his palms had a metal luster formed from a vast and mighty strength. Han Jingzhong struck out with hundreds of palms, forming a wall of palm prints. Bang, bang. In a mere second, Han Jingzhong struck against the red hand hundreds of times. All of a sudden, Han Jingzhong was hit in the chest. He flew back and crashed into a huge rock with a giant crack. A beautiful woman in red suddenly appeared from above. Her legs were slim, and her figure was curvy. She had a charming face and long hair as red as blood. A nearly red light surrounded her body. As she landed on the ground, even the mud turned crimson. Seeing her, Han Jingzhong knelt down on his knees. Fearfully, he said, Red Wish Emissary. Han Jingzhong gave Zhang Tangai a glare signaling him to do the same. Zhang Tangai felt terror spreading from the woman. His heart chilled and he immediately knelt on the ground with his face nearly buried in the mud. Han Jingzhong, why have you brought a stranger here? Are you forgetting the young master's rules? Her voice was very fascinating. It seemed to carry both a smile and a chill. Han Jingzhong said reverently, I dare not forget the rules, but he is a rare talent. I want to recommend him to the young master. Talent? Red Wish Emissary carefully sized Zhang Tangai up. She smiled. Han Jingzhong, you should know that in Black Market Excellence Hall, talent is everywhere. Tat tat. A handsome man in a purple gown appeared from the forest. He carried a dragon-head long spear on his back and his face was cold. He said, Red Wish, Han Jingzhong, the meeting has begun. Young master, let me take you. Purple Wind Emissary. Han Jingzhong bowed to the man and stood up straight. Jiang Tangai was bewildered. Why are there so many top warriors appearing in Omen Ridge? Han Jingzhong alone was an unfathomable old geezer. Even the master of Yuntai Suzerain didn't know his true strength. What's more, who was this siren in red and who was the man in purple? And who was the young master they mentioned? Their martial cultivation seemed to be stronger than Han Jingzhong. Jiang Tangai was confused. At the same time, he was excited. If I follow them, perhaps my strength could be enhanced. Then, I will not need to worry about how to defeat Jiang Yuanchen or destroy Yuntai Suzerain.